Hello friends, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about why we need to stop explaining ourselves. The first thing is when we start going into detail explaining the whys and what fors about feelings, situations, or what's acceptable, what's unacceptable, we're actually trying to teach our children. And to us, we're building a closer relationship. And honestly, we're thinking, if I can just explain this in a way that you'll finally get it, you'll be free. But this is not how they're viewing it. They understand fully, but view your explaining as weakness. This is subconscious, of course, and if you give it some thought, you'll agree. When you explain to someone, you're giving reasons and excuses why you're right and they're wrong. It appears as though you owe that person an explanation. In a rad mind, you're below them, because if you were above them, you wouldn't have to give excuses or explain yourself. If they accept what you say, they'll have to admit you're right and they're wrong. And as you know, they're never wrong. They think you're the one that's wrong, especially if being wrong makes them the problem and not you. It's much easier on their ego to make you the bad guy. Inside, they know they're wrong, and they struggle with that self-hate. That hate tells them they're horrible, they're lazy, they're troublemakers, drama queens, etc. But if they don't make you the bad guy and some kind of monster who's a control freak, they'll have to accept those thoughts about themselves to be true. And they do believe those thoughts to be true. So in their mind, the more you explain and the more you try to make them understand, it's proving to them that they're special, they're superior, they're above you, and they're the center of attention. And you're just a cruel dictator who's trying to control them, and they may even push you or provoke you to act or react so that they can tell themselves and justify to themselves that you really are the problem and not them. So even if they believe you and all your explaining gets through to them, they don't want to admit it, and they won't admit it, because that would have to, at that point, admit that they were wrong. They would have to admit that. We have to remember that they don't live life following logic and reason like we do. They follow their emotions, and that's their compass through life, their emotions. And explaining anything to them is expecting them to somehow decide to follow reason and logic. And if reasoning could get through to them past those emotions, that would require accountability from them. And they don't want to be accountable because that takes effort. So if you do get through to them, they'll choose to ignore it and relinquish that amount of work. They don't want to do that. So it's easier for you to be at fault, and that way it's your responsibility to fix it, not theirs. Okay, so the best thing that you can do from this point on is simply let your yes be yes and your no be no. And that's Bible wisdom for you, and that's Matthew 5:37. They're going to try to get you to react. They're going to try to play off of your emotions. Don't give in. Keep this saying in the back of your mind. Don't react, simply respond. It's okay to respond, but don't react. That's what they want. So they may throw out all different kinds of bait to try to get you to react. Don't fall for it. You can say, I don't agree with you. You're entitled to your opinion, or I've said what I mean. It's your choice to listen. It's not up for debate, or we're not going to argue about it. Walk away and leave it at that. Yes, it's hard. It's really hard because we want to explain. Don't get caught up in the whys and why nots, though. Keep in mind, in their mind, the person asking the questions is in charge. And I've said that before. So your primary reason for wanting to explain is, honestly, it's because we've been taught by therapists and parenting coaches how to talk with these kids, how to deal with them, how to teach them. And none of those things come natural or feel good. So you automatically feel like you need to explain why you're doing it that way or why you're parenting that way. Don't let that prevent you from doing what's best for that child. And honestly, some of these kids are going to use this as an opportunity to manipulate either you or maybe someone else and lure you into believing that you're the one person that truly understands them, that you're the one and only person that can help them or finally get through to them. And they may even act right for a little while. Just it's the love bombing. It's the manipulation, and that's all that it is. You got to look at their history. You got to look at their actions, because their actions are going to speak louder than their words. And that's basically what it comes down to. So anyway, I hope that these things have given you something to think about. We need to stop explaining ourselves. It's not going to do any good. We need to just learn to let our yes be yes and our no be no, and walk away and be in charge. And that's basically what it is. You're being in charge when you do that. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye for now.